wanted to talk about ascenders really quickly here. This is a CT foot ascender. This is a Petzl hand ascender. And the thing my problem with these CTs is that I get a lot of rope grab. That's probably has a lot to do with the fact that I'm an American, possibly a little bit fluffier than my European counterparts. But the Petzl one, I had this Petzl hand ascender. I never had a problem with it grabbing and holding on the rope and having trouble getting it off, versus these CT foot ascenders where it would grab on the rope and just not, I'd really struggle to get these things to let go. And I think it comes down to sort of the pattern on these guys, specifically here on the ends where it grabs that rope. See, the CT one has relatively small engagement hooks. Well, sorry, the CT one has very large engagement hooks, whereas the Petzl one has small ones. So here you can kind of see the CT one. Maybe if I can get this up here. Yeah, the CT climbing's on the left there, the Petzl and Gold's on the right. And you can see the Petzl one just doesn't, right at the end there, right where it engages that rope, it just doesn't have quite as much bite. And I think that makes all the difference. Now, for foot ascenders, I much prefer the notch because it doesn't really grab your rope at all. It's more of a geared engagement as opposed to a cleat engagement. But the problem is, of course, this HAAS Knee ascender comes with a CT climbing thing strapped in, which, and I will say this HAAS with the foot loop is just one of the coolest things for climbing that you can buy. But obviously it's very difficult, especially if one of these guys is grabbing, and if it sticks in there good, you can't descend that rope until you get these things out of here. So I was going to do a little bit of grinding on these and come back and kind of show you how I did it and what I used to get it done. Obviously it's just going to be a Dremel tool with a very small sanding grinding attachment. I will say too, I think part of why these work for some people but not others, other than girth, it has to do possibly with the ropes that you use. Obviously this is a Yale Blue Moon and it's a 24 strand rope, and I use 24 strand ropes pretty much exclusively, and I don't do any of the static rope. These are just standard treestuff.com climbing ropes, and I think because they have possibly a little bit more squish and a little bit more malleability than say some of the other 16 strand ropes, that I'm having this problem while others are just flying up without any issues. So let me grind on these things and I'll show you kind of the finished product just to kind of give you an idea, and I'll let you know how it goes. Thanks. Okay, we got it ground down here. I just want to point out, I just did this first row right here. I know it's rather difficult to see, but I basically took the spikes off of those just so that they're rounded off, and it's just the first three, and that to me made all the difference. Now this thing goes on and off without issue. I go up and down the rope without issue. It's right about where I want it to be. I hope this video helps. Always be careful. These are not life support devices, but if they do slip, they can give you a little bit of trouble. So make sure you go slowly, take a little bit at a time, just enough so that you get it so it doesn't grab for you anymore. And I think you should be good. Appreciate it.